Welcome to Inside the Honors College, where we believe that wisdom and virtue is found when we learn together. Join us as we take an inside look at a community dedicated to educating the next generation of disciples and scholars. I'm Taina Esteves.
And I'm Abby DeVos. And on this episode, we chatted with Commuter Life.
Yes, it was a very loud situation to record a podcast in, which I think just sort of added to the ambiance of the Dome and where Commuter Life is housed on East Campus in general. So it was great because I'd be talking to him and we kind of be going back and forth and like, you hear that? You hear that? So if anyone hears any kind of cheers and general festivities, that was the acrobatics team tumbling next door.
It's everyone just cheering on Commuter Life.
It is. Yeah. It is. It was just for us in our podcast here.
Exactly.
Well, without further ado and spoiling any content, let's get right into it. Well, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Of course.
I'm going to open us up with something that I've usually asked all of the people thus far. Where are you with thumbs? But you have to describe to our listeners who can't see where your thumbs are at this morning.
Where am I with thumbs? Yeah. My thumbs are so far straight up.
Ooh.
It's unbelievable. I'm on fire. I'm ready to burn it down. I'm excited about what's happening at APU. I love commuter students. It's Thursday afternoon and my thumbs couldn't be straighter in the air.
I love the energy. Just to preface this for our listeners as well, we are in the Dome, which we'll get to a little bit later. But there are full practices going on right next door to us. So if you hear some nice cheering, just consider that ambiance for us and our vibes here this afternoon.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Exactly.
Lots of action around here.
Exactly. So starting us off with our more fun questions. First off, what is your favorite part about your office?
Favorite part about my office?
That can be physical, or it can also be like, I enjoy the energy, or it can be like, I have a favorite chair.
I don't have a favorite chair. In fact, I rarely sit down. I probably have ADD off the chart. I have no idea. I've never been diagnosed that.
I hear that.
But I don't like to sit down, so I'm moving. The favorite part for me is it's usually early afternoon, mid-afternoon. Right now we're in the student union, the Cougar Dome on East Campus, and it just gets hopping out there. We got ping pong tables that are going. They have pool tables going. There's music going. Some people are trying to study. Some people are sitting in the corner laughing their heads off. It's just a great tone. I love community. I love trying to create community. I love it when students from different backgrounds, and in this case, different cities, this is their place to hang out. So when the Dome is hopping, I'm happy.
Oh, I love that. What a great start. All right. Second, does your office offer snacks? And if so, what is your favorite snack to offer?
We have lots of snacks. It's part of the draw, frankly. In fact, maybe that's all people really even come here for. Now that you kind of rain on my parade, I hadn't thought about it. They're all coming for free Cheetos, but whatever it takes, I guess the bottom line. Yes, we have a lot of different snacks. I can't count how many times a week I run to Smart and Final to make sure that we have granola bars, oatmeal, chips, those Knott's Berry Farm. Everybody loves those cookies, so I have those. So we have a lot of different snacks. I feeling guilty that I should have something kind of more healthy, so I bought a couple of bags of apples.
I saw that when I walked in.
Well, they're basically rotten. Nobody's eating out. I put apples on the counter thinking, let's step it up a notch, but we do have plenty of snacks, and I love sharing them with students.
Absolutely. And then bringing us to a close for our rapid fire ones.
Yep.
What are 3 words that you would use to describe your office?
Describe my office.
And that can be like as Commuter Life as a whole.
Energy, community, fun.
Oh, yes. And I've seen that already thus far.
Whew.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's great energy for sure. Transitioning into the bulk of our statement here, kind of giving a little layout of what Commuter Life looks like. Can you talk about some of the resources and services that Commuter Life offers students who just kind of walk in for the first time?
Yep. Honestly, we are blessed at APU to have the space that we have, the actual dedicated space that we have. So, of course, on East Campus, we have the Student Union, better known as the Cougar Dome in most cases. On West Campus, hopefully more and more students are spending time on West in the Commons over there, but there's a whole Commuter Life section over in the Commons as well. I put in foosball tables over there last year. We have the desk there that has the same services that it does on East. You can tell where my mind is. They have the same services, and those services include, as you've already alluded to, free snacks. And I know it sounds, maybe kindergartner, here's some cookies, but I think what it does is that for a lot of students, especially those in between classes who don't have a meal plan, the reason I love commuter students is that they have chosen to be a part of this community, and they sacrifice quite a bit, actually, because you can't just run out to the residence hall and take a quick nap or get something to eat. So even the fact that we can provide a cup of noodles or cookies or chips or apples or juice or whatever it is just part of it that I really enjoy being able to. It's a picture of hospitality to me personally, and then as an office as well. And then we offer tangible things. We have feminine hygiene products for free. We have Scantrons. We have, of course, Band-Aids and stuff like that. We any commuter student can get 10 free pages for printing. We print 10 free pages for you every day that you want those. What am I missing? And those are just kind of some of the tangible things that we do, that we give away. To me, what excites me really more is the commitment that we have to student belonging. We've chosen to say that every student matters on our campus. Every student matters in the student union and on West Campus and so on. So what does it look like for us to build community? I love the commuter student population is very diverse, which all the more the stories in here, the people in here, the history, the culture is just that much more rich. And I appreciate that so much about our commuter students. So in addition to the tangible, as we said, the snacks and the supplies and all of those kind of things, we do a lot of programming in here. Free Munch Monday, which is, again, not just for the food. It's always fun to get a free, what do you call those things, ice cream sundaes, and next week I think is nachos and so on. But hopefully what it does is it brings together students who might not otherwise have someplace to hang out or might not have another way to maybe start a small conversation. And so the joy of my life is watching students meet each other, become fast friends. I just today had lunch at a luncheon on campus, and the student asked what I did, and then we got to know him. He said, yep, a couple of years ago, the Dome was where I met everybody. He said, the Dome saved, maybe stretching, he didn't say saved my life, but something about the Dome made APU all the difference for me, and that we intentionally are creating community for students and a place for them to feel like they belong. So
absolutely.
Long answer, but so yes, there are the tangible, there are the things that we offer that I hope just help our students. But even more than that, my real desire is that they feel like they are welcome, that they are seen, that they are heard, that they have a community of friends in here that they might not otherwise find. That's what I want us to be about. We have great student leaders. I'll leave you. You answer me another question. We have great student leaders that we hire in here that are commuters themselves in almost every case. And we have just made a commitment as a family. We have made a commitment that says every student will feel like they belong when they get in here. So that's what we want to be about, and it's an honor to do it. Absolutely.
And I mean, literally keep talking if you've got, we can keep it going. Yeah, no problem at all. I also just realized that I was so taken by our energy together that I didn't even let you introduce yourself.
Imagine that.
So could you please introduce yourself for our audience and kind of your role?
My name is Dr. Keith Hall.
I'll get on top of that joke. It's a joke. This is not Dr. Keith Hall.
I have so much respect for Dr. Hall. I just lost my job just now.
Oh, my word.
My name is Dr. Matt Browning, and I am the director of Commuter Life here at the university. I have been at APU for a long time in a number of different roles. But as of now, I work specifically with all of our commuter students. I'm blessed to be part of our Student Government Association, working with our student leaders as they try to take a look at how to make APU just a great place. So by title, I am the director of Commuter Life. And
kind of mentioning that piece that you talked about a little bit earlier, the student worker component of the Commuter Life. Like, what does that integration look like for the students who are both commuters but also able to kind of participate in community that way? Is that something that you would encourage? Is that like an open application each year?
Absolutely. Now, what's fun is, for instance, we have Commuter Life Assistants. It's a student leadership role on campus that people can apply for every single year. It's through Handshake, all those, how everybody applies and so on and so on. A fun story, which I think does kind of talk about the integration that we're able to have here in Commuter Life. Every single student, last year there was a Community Life Assistant, one of our student leaders. every single one of them came back this year.
Aww.
That could. We had 2 that graduated, but for the most part, those that could come back. And I think that's telling. I hope anyway. I think that says that we do create community. Yes, for the student leaders that work in here, but how does that manifest itself out then when they're welcoming somebody? We really are creating a host culture that says, I challenge them and myself to introduce ourselves as much as possible to students, especially at the beginning of the year. We have a whole lot of incoming students that aren't familiar yet with our campus or what we offer here and so on. So, and we can all remember, right, when we were the new person, right? So part of our culture in the Dome and on West Campus, part of our Commuter Life culture is to create that hospitality. What does it mean for somebody to feel like I said, that they're heard, that they're seen, that somebody knows my name? So that's part of what we do in here. So yeah, we are hiring every year. This year we didn't hire very many, which I guess is a good thing, just because so many students came back and we've had fun with that.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
What would you say about the blend between like resident students, like students who live on campus, and commuter life and like commuter students? Because I think at times it can often feel like 2 different silos, like you're the people who live on campus and then like we don't. What would you speak to like that blend? I think I have so many commuter friends who, becoming friends with them, one of our beginning conversations was like, it can feel like 2 very separate worlds.
Right.
What would you say to that kind of bridge, even whether that be here at the Dome or the Commons, or just speaking to that a little bit?
Right, sure. That is one of the challenges. I choose to stay on the high road for the most part. The beauty of most of our students, right, is we do, right? One of our 4 cornerstones, Eddie, is community. And so for all students, whether you're an incoming student,
for sure,
or whether you're a residential student or a commuter student. So if that's one of the cornerstones, if that's who we say that we are, then we should feel that to some degree, no matter where we are, if we're a commuter or a residential student and so on. I am generally pleased for the most part that our students enjoy each other's company, that we do find ways for them to interact. But yes, it's no secret at the same time that commuter students have a harder time connecting. It's just not as natural. You have those natural places when you're in the residence hall, you automatically have a roommate. At minimum, you have somebody that sees you every day that says, how was your day? Are you okay? Are you hungry? Whatever. Commuter students don't necessarily have that. So we work harder to create that community. But I think overall, our residential students and our commuter students enjoy each other's company. Remember, we do a lot of different programming on this campus. Fall Fest, and every time you turn around, there's another program, which of course is for all students. We do some real unique programming for commuters because it is harder for commuter students to engage on campus, especially with nighttime events, late night events, and so on. In most cases, they're back home in wherever they came from, kind of a thing. But I would say generally we have a spirit of community on campus, and so and I don't think my head is in the sand. I'm just choosing to brag about all of our students that say, for the most part, I think most of our students realize we're in this APU experience together. Whether we're a commuter student or a residential life student, what does it look like for us to create community and care for each other? And so it's a fine line, honestly, for me. I'm aware of did you use the word silo or 2 different camps? I'm aware of that, but I choose not to focus on it. I want to be aware of it, and I want to figure out what that looks like to make sure that our commuter students have a connection. But I don't think I overemphasize the fact that our residential students are friends with only residential students.
For sure, the blend is present.
The blend is present, and we work toward that, and I'm thankful for it. The thing that breaks my heart the most is when I hear of a commuter student that eats their lunch alone in their car. That they don't either realize that we have the space in here, and some people are introverted and they want to be left alone a little bit, and I totally respect that. But for those who do want a connection, for those who do want some camaraderie, that's what we're trying to do with the spaces and the facilities and the programs and the people that we have on campus for Commuter Life.
Absolutely. Well, kind of in that same vein, as we start bringing ourselves to a close here, if there was a piece of advice or even just like a resource you think in your office that's underutilized, kind of just like a last note to leave to both, whether that be commuter students, whether that be residential students, or what that means for that blend that you're mentioning and being intentional about that, what would you say is a piece of advice to help use the Dome Commuter Life as a resource as best as possible?
Yeah, it's a great question. And imagine this, right? My response is honestly, is just start. Is just show up. I promise you, if you are a commuter student and you come within 10 feet of anybody in the Cougar Dome or on West Campus, you will find a person that understands you, that has been where you were, quite likely, that knows what it's like to have to get up at 6 a.m. and drive an hour and a half to get to campus. You have a natural hub of people who want to know you, who care for you. Just show up. Just begin to, I can almost promise you here, I'm going out on a limb, I can almost promise you, if you'll just come into the Dome, open up your laptop and sit down for 10 minutes, someone will introduce themselves to you. If you're not the person that's comfortable saying, hello, I'm Murray, I'd like to get to know you, you just show up and let us see if we can't figure out a way to break through.
For sure.
Let us figure out a way that we might smile at you correctly, offer you a cup of coffee, invite you to one of our programs, and then it just begins to become more and more natural. I think sometimes the thing that concerns most of us, right? We are humans. We are sinners saved by grace, God willing. That, and we get nervous. We assume that people don't want to know us. We assume that we are not worthy of being known. We assume that we are somehow different than somebody else. And I'm fascinated by the commonalities in the human spirit. No matter what our background is, socioeconomically, ethnic, we have so much more in common than we do in difference. And I promise you, commuter students, if you will show up in the Dome or at some of our programming or over on West Campus, I'm almost convinced you will find connection and community very, very quickly.
Right. Well, what a beautiful note to leave off on. I appreciate you and your time and the space that you've carved for our students.
My honor.
It was an absolute pleasure getting to speak to you. Thank you so much.
My honor. Thank you.
The life of a commuter, man, it just has so many moving pieces, and I'm so grateful for the Office of Commuter Life to be there to know those pieces and understand how to support students the best in that life at APU. I'm just so grateful for them.
Yeah, no, even just walking into the Dome, it could be a little loud, obviously, like I mentioned at the top. Like, they had teammates kind of going through practice next door. But even on the inside, like, the vibes of the music were super chill. There were, like, a couple of different groups talking. And I had to, like, wait for a little bit because I came too early and they didn't realize it was me. But even then, like, they started asking me questions. Like, we played a little, like, music identifying game. So from, like, the get-go, you kind of walk in and it can sound intimidating, but it was just very, very welcoming, very open, great energy. I think it was indicative of how intentional the Commuter Life office wants to be with making sure that students who don't necessarily interact with res life like that because they don't live on campus don't feel isolated and can still feel like they have a place on campus to be and hang and have a home away from home.
Yeah, I think intentional is the perfect word with that office. Just how much they say just show up and we will support you. Even for commuters who don't really know exactly how they need support, just interacting with such friendly faces and having a place to just be with other people who experience APU like you experience it is just a very comforting thing to be offered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking an inside look at a community dedicated to educating the next generation of disciples and scholars. We will see you next time on Inside the Honors College.